If y'all saw the thumbnail and then you saw this, guys, you better brace yourselves because y'all know how I get sometime when people have these wild looking mug shots. So I'm going to say some things that I know some people in the comment section are like, why you got to talk so crazy about these people? Because there are children involved and children have been hurt. And I'm sorry, I'm the last thing I'm going to be thinking to do if I were a concerned citizen is be worried about what I'm saying about somebody who hurt children, okay? Just thought I'd throw that out there. But let me go ahead and give you guys a disclaimer real quick while you guys hit that thumbs up, please. Let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. All right, so here's the deal. Let me go ahead and get their pictures back up here. Let me see if I can show you guys this real quick. I think this picture is a little bit too small. I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but it looks like somebody probably had to tackle this woman to arrest her. I want you guys to take a look at this face, and I want y'all to take a look. Is that like string in her hair or grass, or is that gray hair? Good Lord, this woman looks a mess. Golly, it is just like, I don't understand, like, what are these men thinking about? Like, is it just a shortage of women out there? We can't get any mail order brides, or what is the problem? Like, I don't understand. I'm sorry, but just some people don't need children. Some people don't need sex. I know y'all are going, some of y'all are going to hate me for saying that. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I just think there's a threshold of unattractiveness that just some people don't deserve sex. Is that wrong of me to say? Right? Jesus Christ, man. Look, so here's what we're going to do. Let me give a shout out to Illicit Deeds because we talked about this story pretty early on. So check out Illicit Deeds on Facebook and illicitdeeds.com. I'm also going to be pulling some information from fox4news.com as well as waxahachie.tv.com. So thank all of you guys for the help with the articles. So court records show that there is a history of violence. Mark that word. History of violence with Shemaya Hall, the 25-year-old woman who was charged with murdering 3 of her children. And I believe it's 3 out of 5. Some of these pictures are old. One of the pictures of the baby I know for sure is current. Let me see if I can show you which one is current. That one that I just scrolled past, that one's current. And this one, that picture is also current of one of the children. Now, why they continue to keep hiding this information, if these kids have already been harmed to the point to where they're not living anymore, we can't do them any more harm. I don't see why we can't at least pay homage and show their pictures so we can know who these babies were, okay? But nonetheless, 3 of her children and injuring 2 of them Friday in Italy, Texas. So Texas takes the L, my home state. Isn't that something? How many of you guys heard about this story before you got here? Records also show Shemaya Hall's twin sister was charged with murdering her own daughter in 2021. And I have her name. Her name is Troy Shea Hall. If you guys remember one of my hashtags is hashtag stupid names equals stupid things. What kind of a name is Troy Shea Hall? Troy Shea, I mean, maybe that's a common name. Maybe somebody think that name is cute. But that's Shemaya, and her twin sister is Troy Shea. Just terrible. Police officers responded to a call around 4:05 p.m. Friday in the 300 block of Harris Street when Child Protective Services, caseworkers were called 911, excuse me. The caseworker had gone to the house for a home visit, which I think they said it was like a surprise visit, from what I understand, and made the decision to remove the children from the house. When the officers arrived, they discovered 3 children had been fatally stabbed and 2 of them were injured. 2 others were injured. They were transported to local hospitals. So here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to actually say it here, but I'll go ahead and tell you guys. So they showed up because I think they were probably contacted behind a wellness check. They showed up to try to check on the kids. She slammed the door in their face, locked it, and then took a knife and went and tried to stab and kill all the children. That's what happened. Here's what you would have to wonder. How are these people who we want to give these excuses of mental illness, we want to give excuses like, well, the fathers weren't there. We want to give them excuses like, well, they didn't have very much financial means to be able to take care of themselves, or maybe their mental condition, but we'll allow them to be parents anyway. No qualifications, just as long as you got a working crotch, you can make kids, have kids, and treat them however the hell you want to. Then, when you get charged with it, then we want to try to give them an excuse in court, which is flat out unacceptable. 6 years ago, Samaya Hall was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and a deadly weapon following an incident in which she and her twin sister, Troy Shea Hall, attacked Troy Shea Hall's ex-boyfriend, according to records, hashtag not my words. They attacked like a pack of wild dogs. According to a Dallas County court indictment, Shemaya Hall was with Troy Shea Hall around midnight, May 23rd, 2017, when Troy Shea sent her boyfriend a text saying she was going to fight him. Going to fight a grown man, huh? Soon after, records state the sisters went to an apartment where the ex-boyfriend, meaning they weren't in a relationship, and if her life wasn't in danger, she went to his house. Everybody catch that? Let's read that again. The sisters went to an apartment where the ex-boyfriend was visiting his sister in South Dallas. When the sister opened the door, the ex-boyfriend saw Shemaya Hall and Troy Shea Hall standing there, so she tried to slam the door. Before he could, Troy Shea Hall grabbed his shirt and Shemaya Hall pepper sprayed him in the face. The ex-boyfriend went to the bathroom to clean his face, and when he returned, he saw Troy Shea Hall waving a knife, saying, "Run up, run up." I want you guys to keep in mind that they just were accused of murdering the children. These children just died. So what does that mean? That means that this behavior that we're talking about now, going to his house or where he was staying at that moment, attacking him with pepper spray, which I don't know, could that be like, is that just an assault charge? Could that be considered attempted murder? I don't know. Probably not. But then you were waving a knife, telling him to run up when you're attacking this man. So he's not supposed to defend himself. He's supposed to take an ass whooping. Why? Because he don't want to be with you, ma'am? Because your face looks like that? Because y'all look like this? Because y'all literally look like y'all couldn't stop driving through the McDonald's drive-thru and ordering supersizes? Right? Just terrible looking people. You care so much about wanting people to find you attractive, but you won't do the core things that it takes to make you attractive. Maybe exercise, maybe have some good health, maybe some good hygiene. They look like they don't smell very well. Like they just don't look mentally all there. So they went to his place and attacked him. After the ex-boyfriend's friend came over to help the sisters flee. They were charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I hope I read that right. After the ex-boyfriend's friend came over to help, the sisters fled. I don't know why they wrote it like that. They were charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. According to Dallas County court documents, Troy Shea Hall stabbed 2 people inside her Dallas home nearly 2 years ago, including her own 7-year-old daughter who died from her injuries. But people say that I'm making these people look bad and I'm bashing them. Do you guys in the chat that are listening to the sound of my voice right now, do y'all understand how disheartening that is? When I'm literally saying, look what these bad people did to these children. Y'all see those babies? And if I tell y'all somebody did something bad to those babies, they will say, you don't have the right to speak about black people like that. And I would ask, so who's supposed to defend the children? That's why I came up with this. And I said, AFC, Advocates for Children, hashtag BLM, Babies Lives Matter. Because I find it so weird that I still continue to comb through my comments section. And I still find, and more times than none, it's usually a black woman. I'm sorry, I've even posted screenshots in the community tab. Y'all can go look. They are usually the only ones coming arguing with me and telling me that I'm making the black community look bad by telling them we need to stop harming ourselves. We need to stop shooting ourselves. We need to stop killing ourselves. And if we really want to love black women and prop black women up on this pedestal, then why do we continue to cut down our little girls? Why do we continue to cut down our little boys, our princes, our future protectors? You talk about there's not enough good men in the world, but then we continue to just keep having black men kill each other at ridiculous rates. I'm glad I caught myself before I said that other R word. At ridiculous rates. I don't understand how anybody could get mad about me describing these people who are hurting people who can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves against the tyranny of their caretakers. Why get mad at me? That I just don't get. Court documents state on June 17th of 2021, Troy Shea Hall's mother was in the bathroom when she heard her son and his friend begin screaming. They told the mother Troy Shea Hall had stabbed the friend in another bathroom. The son and his friend went outside to get help, but the mother alerted him that Troy Shea Hall was in the living room stabbing Troy Shea Hall's daughter, so he returned inside, according to court documents. He discovered the girl with multiple stab wounds and Troy Shea Hall nearby. A neighbor who also was an off-duty police officer checked on the 7-year-old who was unresponsive. The neighbor took the girl to a local fire station and paramedics transported her to a local hospital where she died. An autopsy revealed that she had more than 30 stab wounds. Do you know how much energy and hate that it takes to stab a human being 30 times, let alone a baby? Troy Shea Hall was arrested and charged with capital murder and aggravated assault. But here's the kicker. They're allowed to be parents. They're allowed to be in our society. And they're allowed to ruin our society. But then when they get in front of the judge, here's what happened. She was found not fit to stand trial and is currently in a mental health facility. Now we want to give a damn about their mental health after they've killed someone, after they've stabbed someone, after they've maced someone, after they've run somebody over with a car, after they've set people's houses on fire, after they abandoned children, after they starved children, after they kidnapped children. You guys follow my drift? if you have mental issues to the point to where it puts these children in danger, then they shouldn't be able to have custody of these children. That's what we call babies for benefits. They continue to keep having these kids because they're trying to get benefits from these children, get benefits because they have the children. They don't love them, and it's clear in their actions that they never gave a crap about these children. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys are listening right now, if you would, do me a favor and make sure that everybody's already clicked that thumbs up so we can have one thumb up for everybody watching. That will help us out quite a bit, okay? While we try to keep building and build our message. Here we go. Here's the news videos.
We give you glory, oh God.
Rayla Morrison came to pray outside her family's home. She says her family is grieving after 5 of her little cousins were stabbed.
I'm hurting. This has hurt me because when you hear of something like this happening, yes, it does. It grieves your heart.
Authorities say the tragedy unfolded at 4 p.m. Friday afternoon when a CPS worker came to this house in Italy to check on the 5 children who were staying with their grandmother. But when the CPS worker arrived, the mother, Shamaya Hall, answered the door. Sources say she was not supposed to be there unsupervised with her kids. The caseworker called 911. This is what dispatchers relayed to first responders.
She is there for removal of the kids. The last time she was at this address, the mother was aggressive, and she is being combative today.
The Ellis County Sheriff's Department says police arrived 5 minutes later to a horrifying scene.
I got kids, multiple stab wounds, back bedroom.
Authorities say a 6-year-old boy and 2 5-year-old twins were dead. A 4-year-old boy and a 13-month-old girl were seriously injured, all of them siblings.
I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know why it happened. We can't change it, but what we can do is pray for the family.
There is a family history with CPS and police. Shamaya Hall has been arrested before in Dallas County. Court records show that in 2017, Hall and her twin sister, Troche Hall, were arrested for aggravated assault against Troche's boyfriend. According to court documents, the sisters went to his apartment. When he saw them, he immediately tried to slam the door shut, but they grabbed his shirt and sprayed him with pepper spray. The records go on to say Troche pulled a knife out of her bra while Shamaya told her to run up on him and attack him. In another tragic twist to this story, Shamaya's twin sister, Troche Hall, is also accused of stabbing her little girl to death at a house in Dallas in 2021. According to court records, the mother says,
and I want y'all to notice that these are 2 mothers who are murderous and violent towards people. 2 different mothers. 2 different black mothers.
Troche's little girl was lying on the living room floor, bloody with multiple stab wounds. She was standing over the body, quiet and not saying anything. Troche was charged with capital murder, but was found incompetent to stand trial and is now in a mental health facility. Meanwhile, Shamaya Hall sits in the Ellis County Jail with $6 million worth of bonds, charged with 3 counts of capital murder.
Look at us, God.
Family members say they couldn't comment on the history or the event.
I want y'all to take a look at this before we go to our next video. I want y'all to look at how many people in this neighborhood gave a damn about those children and what happened. She's out there with a loudspeaker, and I'm going to tell you something. I can at least respect the fact that this woman is standing out there, even if she's standing alone, even if she's standing out there with one person. She got out there, she spoke up, she saw something, she's saying something, she's speaking out against it. But I wonder, if it were a white police officer that did this to these kids, how many people would be out there? If this were a Karen that maybe screamed some racist something at these children, how many people would be out there protesting, right? And this is what I continue to keep trying to point out. It doesn't seem like anybody really gives a damn about kids. You got 2 people out there and everybody's like, just another day, stabbing kids and macing people. What's the big deal?
That led up to 5 little kids being attacked, allegedly by their own mother.
And we begin with breaking news in Ellis County. 3 children found dead and 2 others rushed to a hospital with stab wounds. Sources tell us the suspect is the children's mother and is in custody tonight. Police have been at a home in Italy since 4 this afternoon. That's located off I-35, about 40 miles south of Dallas. WFAA's Matt Howerton joins us live after speaking to relatives and investigators tonight. Matt.
Let me pause it real quick. And thank you, Mookie, for letting me know. Hold on just a second. Let me pause it real quick. So for those who aren't able to type in the chat, I know some people are just watching, or maybe you're watching on your TV. If y'all will take a moment. And people always ask, well, how can I help, Jay? Like, maybe I don't have the financial means to be able to donate to the show and donate to the stream and what you guys do and support us. The easiest thing that you guys can do is hit that thumbs up. Right now, we're sitting at 226 thumbs up. And we have just about 500 people here. So if we could have 500 thumbs up, that would help us out quite a bit. So I'm assuming that if you follow True Crime TV, or if you follow these baby stories, or even the AFC, if you will, please hit that thumbs up. 200 people ought to easily be in there real quick. Thumbs up, thumbs up. There you go. And we'll be set. So that's our goal tonight. If we can get to about 500 or 600 thumbs up, that'll help us out quite a bit. So I don't want to keep pausing the story, but I do want to encourage you guys. Please let me know when y'all hit that thumbs up. Because we're only at like 200 and something, but we got like 400 and something people here. All right, here we go. Let's keep going.
Yeah, Cynthia, I don't know how to say this here, but what happened here on this street in this tiny community behind me is simply unfathomable. A mother, police say, stabbing her own children, 3 of them to death. Police still on scene here tonight telling us that all this happened around 4 p.m. this afternoon. And believe me when I tell you, something like this that happened on this tiny street in this tiny community has sent a titanic shockwave through so many here in Italy, Texas. So far, what we know tonight, it is unknown what sparked the killings, but WFAA sources telling us the mother stabbed her children when a CPS worker who suspected the mom was having unsupervised visitations arrived at a home on the street where the children lived to check on everyone unannounced. The children, we were told, were living with another relative at the time. The kids living here under the supervision of another relative, as we said, police telling us that CPS worker called 911 when she found all of them dead. 3 of the children, all young, 2 more taken to the hospital. Their injuries unknown tonight. Police not saying much else. We don't know the name of the mother or what charges she's facing.
A 25-year-old woman is now charged with capital murder, accused of killing 3 of her children and injuring 2 other children. Shemaiah Hall sits in the Ellis County Jail this evening. Ellis County Sheriff says Child Protective Services went to the Italy home Friday afternoon. During the visit, CPS decided to remove the children from the home, and shortly after, the caseworker called 911 needing help. Fox 4's David Santendri visited Italy today and has the latest.
And Peyton, we still do not know what initially led Child Protective Service to visit that 25-year-old mother and her children at that home. But right now, that mother is charged with 3 counts of capital murder. Every now and then, a story so heartbreaking shakes a community to its core.
And certainly this is a shaking.
At this home in Italy, an Ellis County town of about 2,000 people, Shemaiah Dayanshana Hall allegedly killed 3 of her 5 kids Friday.
Well, we want to certainly pray for the family.
Rayla Morrison is a relative of Hall. She's asking why.
But things can happen in life that we don't always are made abreast of.
Texas Child Protective Services came to the home Friday, and an investigator made the decision to remove the children, according to the Ellis County Sheriff's Office. The caseworker called 911, but 5 minutes later, when Italy police officers arrived, 3 kids, a 6-year-old boy and a twin 5-year-old boy and girl, were dead. A 4-year-old boy and 13-month-old girl were seriously wounded. Family members tell Fox 4 Hall is the mother of all 5 kids.
3 deceased victims were found inside the home.
I don't understand how men don't wake up at some point and realize these fathers of these kids. And so, yes, I'm assuming that she had these children by more than one man. That wouldn't be a far stretch, considering how I know our community gets down for the most part when you have a bunch of kids and no man around. How you can see a woman that has one kid, two kids, maybe even three kids, and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to go in there raw too. And then next thing you know, she's sitting there with 4 kids by herself, and then another man come around and like, you know what, I'm going to go in there raw too. She's 25 with 5 kids. That means all she's been doing in her 20s is literally laying with her legs up in the air. You know why? I can guarantee you she didn't have any direction. She didn't have any type of wherewithal to go out and go work and want to be something, want to do something with her life, have no direction for her life, because she saw, okay, let me see, I could get Section 8, I can get food stamps, I can get car vouchers, I could get housing, I could get sympathy. I might be able to get a man to stick around because I got his kid, or I could at least harass the shit out of him for the next 18 years because I done had this man's baby, and make it seem like he made this lifelong commitment to me, which he didn't, because if he did, he would have married you, but he didn't marry you. That means you settled for less, but you're acting like he owed you more than that, right? All she's been doing since high school is having children, if she even finished high school. And that should just not be allowed. Like, I'm thinking, like, after 1 or 2 kids, I'd be asking questions like, man, what do you do for a living? Right? Because in all actuality, if you're going to demand benefits from society, and you're going to demand that people pay your rent, keep your lights on, and keep food in your fat stomach, then I think that you should be held accountable at some point. How many of you guys are tired of seeing people take their damn food stamp cards and benefit cards and go out and go buy weave, go out and go to the club, go out and go try to buy hotel rooms so they can go out there and act like they're on vacation, and they living life and taking pictures and selfies and shit. Flat out misusing benefits, but then you look at the condition of the kids. The kids are dressed like shit. The kids have no education. The kids are living in squalor and filth, don't even have clean diapers or underwear or food to eat at home, don't have any babysitters. How many of you guys are tired of seeing that? When you have this many children at this age with and you live in squalor conditions, that's not by design. I think it's by choice. The design is there because it's set up for you to do that. That's the way our system and society is set up. But I think at the end of the day, we got to start holding people accountable. And I'm sorry, after you didn't have 1 or 2 kids, I think we need to do like China and be like, you know what? We're going to cut your services off, ma'am. No more benefits after this. No more child support after this. No more Section 8 after this. Keep having kids if you want to. I think that would cause people to be better at the choices that they make. You got to start holding people accountable.
Today, the Ellis County Sheriff's Office provided preliminary information, but it has not said what exactly led to the killings. Or
what's up, Chris Thorne's in the building, man. Shout out to you, bro. Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate that.
CPS was at the home to begin with.
Everybody can have their own, thought process about what could have happened, but we can't undo what has happened. But what we can do is we can come together and pray and try to make the community a better place to live.
Saturday, a sliver of crime scene tape remains outside the home. Toys scattered across the property, a bitter reminder of the 3 children whose lives were taken and the 2 children who will never be the same.
So certainly I know that the only person I know to go to is God. I don't know nobody else to go to. I can only go to God because he has healing. Only God can heal us from this.
She's 25-year-old Shemaya Hall, and she's in custody this morning, facing capital murder charges. Hall was booked in jail around 11 last night. Police say 2 of her other children were rushed to a hospital with stab wounds. Now, this all happened in the town of Italy, that's located off I-35, about 40 miles south of Dallas. As of now, We don't know what led up to this tragedy, but sources tell us Hall stabbed her children when a CPS worker arrived at the family home unannounced to check on everyone. We're told that CPS workers suspected Hall was having unsupervised visitation. The kids were living there under the supervision of another relative.
So it sounds like she also didn't have custody. Imagine that. It sounds like she also didn't have custody, so they realized that she was a danger to these children and was still around them anyway. So here's what you would also have to wonder. Did the family member who had legal custody at that time, at that moment, did they say, you know what? Well, she's the mom. The mom should be allowed to be here with the kids, and I'll be here to watch her, and I'll be here to supervise her. And then she just tell her that it was okay for her to go ahead and come over, even though the state had determined, no, that's not the case. She's not a suitable parent. Then I would say that the person that allowed that to happen, that owns that house, is just as guilty for allowing this to happen. When you let the thug zoo, when you have the thug zoo and you let your children come into the thug zoo and you let them go play with the thug lions and they end up killing your kids, then I think that because you took them there, you should be held accountable too, because it was your house and you had custody.
Police tell us the worker called 911. All 3 of the children were elementary school aged. 2 more were taken to the hospital. We don't know the extent of their injuries right now. Now, as you can imagine, our crews on the scene tell us everyone there is very upset and they were shocked. A relative who babysat the kids spoke with us. She says she remembers holding the children as if it were yesterday.
And I just want everybody to know them are some beautiful angels. And I love him. And I know God never make no mistake. And I just want to say, they gained their wings.
And just to clarify, I know some people in the chat are kind of wondering, like, who's been charged, who's going to be held accountable. Well, one of the sisters actually was already deemed to be mentally unfit to be held accountable in court. So she's in a mental health facility, one of the 2 twins. Go figure. So maybe we'll actually get some justice in this story. And I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out.
This is something that hurts so bad.
CPS sent us this statement saying, we are shocked by this incomprehensible tragedy and already working with law enforcement to investigate how this happened and why. We've also learned this morning Shemaiah Hall has been arrested before. Sources tell WFAA senior crime reporter Rebecca Lopez she was arrested back in 2017 for stabbing her sister's boyfriend. Her twin sister was also arrested in 2021 and charged with stabbing her 7-year-old daughter to death. And new overnight, we are hearing for the first time from the Children's School District. The superintendent there says we are a tight-knit small community, and as such, many students will be impacted by this incident. She also says the district will have counselors available this morning at Stafford Elementary and all next week. This is a lot to take in and a major story you can imagine we will be following for several days.
And let me give a shout out. Mookie Lolo said, I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm always sick of people talking about coming together in the community, but there's no real outrage until the next murder, rinse and repeat. I 100% agree. And that's why I always used to use the hashtag BLM, Black Lives Matter. And I'm just like, well, why don't these Black Lives Matter? So I actually kind of turned that into our own thing to just kind of point out the hypocrisy in the statement. That if it does matter, then why don't it matter to us? Why doesn't it matter in our actions? Why doesn't it matter when it's time for us to get out and protest and really make some noise behind this? Why don't we see that happen? So I agree with you. Thank you for posting that.
A 25-year-old.
New this afternoon, police have charged a 24-year-old woman in the stabbing death of a little girl. Troy Shea Hall has been charged with capital murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It happened yesterday southeast of Dallas's Fair Park. Police say she stabbed the 7-year-old and a young boy. He was taken to the hospital. No word yet on his condition or her relation to the children.
So here's what I'm hoping to try to do. I'm hoping to continue to try to spread awareness, and that maybe Texas, who we have super aggravated child abuse laws, like we have things in place that make it much more harsher than most states against people who hurt kids. But like I said, I think we continue to need to have that outcry from people like you, from people like that are in the comment section, for people who are in our neighborhood. But there was no way that that one lady and that one man should have been out there, the only ones protesting. And I think that's just sad in itself. And I just think that just shows how selfish some of our communities and some of our thought process is. But I hope that we can change that. And I hope that the more that I speak, that we can have less and less of these stories, and maybe we can have less and less of these kids being forced into these situations. But we will be doing an update on this story. So like, share, subscribe to AFC Podcast. But we'll bring you more on this and let you know what ultimately happens here. But RIP to those babies. Beautiful babies. And pray for the ones who are still alive also. Please put a prayer hands up in the chat for that, okay? And then maybe the next update we do, we can actually present all of the pictures and pay homage to the babies that we lost. Okay, thank you. This is the mentality that I've been talking about for a while, about dating these thugs and the end result. And no, I don't feel bad for this woman, because I'm pretty sure that with as many views as we have on this channel and as many other YouTubers that kind of speak some of the similar messages that I do, they've heard this. They already know. They know this is dangerous. They don't give a damn. Maybelline showing some love. I just got your Cash App, Maybelline. Where you at? Thank you, Soldier Girl. Maybelline said, supporting you always. You rock, Maybelline. If you're listening, thank you, sweetheart, for the Cash App. Appreciate that. If any of them come through between Cash App and PayPal, I will read them out as soon as they come in. So I just got those two just now. Oh, we did. Oh, and Yvonne J. and Tanea. So I got you. Thank you, ladies. Y'all ready for this? I've had people in my comment section tell me, like, all I do is just read the news. My channel doesn't make a difference. It doesn't do anything. Nobody gives a crap about what I'm doing. But for those who are listening right now, I want y'all to type in the chat if what we do, what we stand for, our message, and that we actually are doing something in this world. We actually have people in jail right now because of my channel, because of my interviews, because of my advocacy for murdering children, and we've gotten people arrested on my channel. I'd like to think that that's doing something tangible. Hey, what's up, Relationship Rehab? Said, glad I'm able to catch a live show. Salute, brother. Much love, much love. Relationship Rehab, from my heart to yours, my brother. Always, always an honor to have you in here, man. I'm truly grateful. Truly, truly grateful. Thank you, Soldier Girl, for the super chat. Said, how's it going? I'm doing well. How about yourself? All right, let's talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, Florida takes yet another L. I don't know how long I've been talking about when you date thugs, you date death. I've been pushing that message for a while. But I know people are going to make their decisions. They're going to do what they feel like is best for them. Or maybe they're going to just date what they like. They're going to date, you know, what they're attracted to. But there are consequences that come with these actions. And I continue to keep trying to talk to my young ladies out there and hope that you guys will wake the hell up. You're putting yourselves in danger. You're putting your children in danger. And it just makes me believe that you don't have that much self-worth. Like your value of yourself seems to be very low. And that's what I'm hoping to try to change with my words. Let me give you guys a disclaimer real quick so you'll understand before we dive into this topic. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Now, police say that a man fatally shot his pregnant girlfriend just days after a Florida jury acquitted him of murdering 2 men. Let's take a huge pause right there. First of all, he is accused of shooting his pregnant girlfriend, or was it his girlfriend? I'm not so sure that it was. I think what it was she just so happened to be the side chick. and this man decided to end her life because he didn't want another baby being put on him, to also prove that not only was he not faithful to his actual girlfriend, but to also protect him from this thing called child support, right? This system that holds men to a financial accountability level at whatever behest, right? And we continue to keep having these results, and we can't look at this and say, this can't be a good thing if people are going out and killing and murdering over this, right? In the Civil War, people were killing each other over ideals. Over, we believe this, we believe that, and you know what? We're going to just fight it out to the death until one of us gives in. That's literally what's happening here. But to even go further than that, why are women attracted to murderers? Attracted to a man that was accused of... Matter of fact, he murdered 2 people. Let me say that. The difference is this man was found to not be guilty because they said that he acted in self-defense. He didn't deny murdering these men. Isn't that cold? And you would have to think, if a person would do a simple background check, the fact that most people probably heard this on the news in Florida, let alone that. You know what this dude probably does for a living. Like, he's not no law-abiding citizen, and this woman was attracted to this man just like a lot of these young, hot and ass women are. But let's get past that just for a second. He was recently acquitted of murdering 2 men. Billy Bennett Adams III, 25 years old, killed Elena Sims, the woman that you see on my screen, on January the 30th, apparently because he did not want to be in her life and he was not ready to have a child, according to police in a press conference covered by WFLA, and this is coming from lawandcrime.com. So thank you very much for the article. Adams was acquitted of first-degree murder and burglary charges on January the 27th. That was not that long ago. And the deaths of Trayvon Albury and Daniel Thompson, who Adams told the jury were executing a robbery at Joseph Meek's recording studio in 2020. Mr. Albury points a gun to the back of Mr. Meek's head, Adams said, according to KTSU. Mr. Meeks is at the computer. His back is turned. He doesn't know what's going on. He shot Albury, he reportedly said. Then Thompson tried to take his gun from him, and he shot him too, he said. I turned around, and I saw that he had a gun in his hand, and he said that they were going to rob, Meeks said. Meeks and Adams gave conflicting accounts of how the 3 arrived at the recording studio. Meeks said that the defendant and the slain men arrived together, while Adams said that they arrived separately and that Albury and Thompson were only acquaintances. Jurors found Adams not guilty. Here's the thing. When you charge somebody with murder, you have to prove intent beyond a reasonable doubt. It is such a serious thing. And just because you have certain evidence, or what do they call that? Circumstantial evidence, doesn't mean that you can fully convict them of murder. So he provided some doubt that maybe he was trying to protect himself. They weren't able to prove their case, and they lost their freaking case. He had his entire life ahead of him. So did Sims until she was found shot to death outside her car in the 10,700 block of Pictorial Park Drive in New Tampa on the evening of January 30th. She was 5 months pregnant. Her 18-month-old son was found alive in the vehicle. Police believe Sims was out there for some time before she was discovered. So she is... How old is she? 22 years old with 2 kids. (22 years old with 2 kids. And I would ask, why are you making kids? What are you making kids for that early? You can't provide for yourself. You don't have a roof over your head. probably don't have a suitable job to be able to take care of 2 kids. Why, like, are we just gonna just flat out just act like condoms don't exist anymore? Like we're gonna act like prophylactics don't exist, like the depot shot, the NuvaRing, and all of these different methods of not having kids don't exist. That's a choice. And I just think we're making the wrong choice to continue to keep bringing children into this world, and we're not ready to have all these kids. But anyway, so her 18-month-old son was with her, which is really sad. Investigators' impression is that Sims thought she was going to a party celebrating Adams' acquittal, police reportedly said. It seemed that she was lured out there. I'm sorry, I can't read. That she was lured out there, though authorities are working to determine how. One thing is clear, however. They said Adams pulled the trigger. Sims had been driving a 2021 Ford EcoSport, according to court documents. Police said that they spoke to the vehicle owner. During the interview, it was discovered that the victim had planned to attend a party for her boyfriend on the evening of that murder. Sims was supposed to pick up the vehicle owner that night at 9 p.m., but she never arrived. Through discussions with members of the victim's family, it was determined that her boyfriend and the victim had planned to meet at January the 30th of 2023 was a male by the name of nickname Ace, also known as Billy Adams III, according to documents. Now, Adams said he knew her, but denied he knew that she was dead. He allegedly said that he did not believe he was the unborn child's father. He had not seen, talked to, or texted Sims in several months, he said in documents. Adams allegedly asserted that he was home the entire evening of January the 30th and did not leave home until the following day. Don't y'all think that's ironic? That this man is associated with 3 murders, and every time he just so happens to be the one, oh, I didn't do nothing wrong, right? They're blaming me for stuff I didn't do. But police said that they determined that he was driving his father's car that night. When Billy Adams III was confronted about the RFID readings and video from his subdivision, Adams recanted his earlier statements about being at home all evening. During his second statement, Adams III said that he was with friends earlier in the evening on January the 30th and that the 3 had went to the villas in Tampa. Adams III stated that he had left his residence around 6:50 p.m. and returned home around 8:30 p.m. on January the 30th. He denied going to the subdivision where Sims died, authorities said. He allegedly gave a video showing him out with friends. It was purportedly taken the night of January 30th, but investigators determined that he had altered it. So he altered the video. Isn't that something? The video was actually made on February the 1st, they said. Adams III denied going to the Eastern Park subdivision where the victim died on January the 30th. When police obtained the probable cause and a motive, they confronted him with the conflicts and discrepancies in his story. Adams allegedly changed it. I'm sorry, I know this is long, y'all. We'll get to more of what I want to say here in a moment. Adams allegedly changed his versions of events. This time, he admitted he did meet Sims at the Eastern Park subdivision where she was found dead. So now he put himself there. This time, he admitted to killing her, although his version of events painted her as the aggressor according to documents. I want y'all to hear this. Initially, the defendant stated that the victim pulled a gun on him, and while the defendant wrestled with the victim, he shot her, authorities said. When the defendant could not demonstrate the events, the defendant changed his statement to the fact that the victim pulled a gun on him and was able to get the gun away from the victim, and then he shot her in the head as self-defense. He's just a victim. Every time he's a victim. Somebody trying to rob him. She tried to shoot him. Adams allegedly said he knew Sims was pregnant and that night he might be the father, even though he just said that there was no way he was the father. He said he's not the father. He don't know what she's talking about. There was a GoFundMe put up to support the Sims family, and they raised $15,000 of a $4,000 goal. So if y'all want to see that GoFundMe, I guess I can show you. Actually, it raised almost $18,000. Let me show y'all real quick. Hold on just a second. Let me get it up here. Let me say thank you real quick. Alicia Garcia, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Did I miss anybody else? Oh, yes, I did. Where's Mookie Lolo at? Love you, brother. Continue to be that beacon for the kiddos. No matter how long I be away, you will be supported by me. Brother, I truly appreciate that, and I will keep the amount that you donated in PayPal private. But if you're listening, brother, I did get your PayPal, and I want to say thank you. Appreciate that. Let me see if I can get this GoFundMe up here just so you guys can see it. Right here. So again, I know some people think that I just hate GoFundMe altogether. I don't hate GoFundMe altogether, but what I hate is that people just go on through life with no life insurance, no plan for how they're going to take care of themselves or their family's going to take care of them. When the inevitable happens, we're all going to die. We just don't know how we're going to die. We don't know when we're going to die. But that's why you have insurance. There's a high probability that we're going to die. But nonetheless, they asked for $4,000 and people felt enough love in their heart. They gave up about $18,000. So it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe put the rest of the money in a trust fund for the little child that survived. But let me give you guys the fair usage. We'll talk a little bit more about this thug lion here in a moment. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys are listening to the sound of my voice, if you would help us out, we want to have one thumb up for everybody watching. So please click that thumbs up button, but you have to close the live chat to do it. Hit that thumbs up and share this video so more people can hear this story, because we're hoping to try to save lives, but we got to start spreading these stories a little bit more, okay? Here we go.
New this afternoon, police have charged a 24-year-old.
Give me a second. I forgot to bring my videos up. Give me just a second. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, these are the correct videos. Had to make a correction. Here we go.
Wouldn't be included.
Here's the part where I want y'all to catch this. This is literally like something out of First 48. Like, it's just unbelievable that this man has able to been kind of skirt the law the way that he did, and he was going to try to do it basically a third time. So I count that one time in court for those two murders as number one and number two. He got off on that. He said, tomorrow this shit is done. Adams III wanted to have his life and that she wouldn't be included. Is it wasn't even 72 hours later before he killed this woman. Isn't that something? Yeah, they said he shot him in the back of the head. Well, how's that considered self-defense? Don't know. Like, Florida screwed that up. The prosecutors screwed that up. That's the prosecutor's job. I think that they're going to end up losing their job after that. They screwed that up royally. You know, it's funny because the Innocence Project works to try to free men who are in jail, doing life sentences, doing a bunch of years, losing years of their life they can never get back behind things they actually didn't do. Then you have somebody like this who you have a large level of evidence proving his guilt, even some admissions by himself that proves that he was guilty of at least taking a few people's lives, putting himself at these locations, changing his story, which is lying. I don't know why that can't be considered perjury, providing false statements. Like, that alone ought to be something lodged against you to say, you know what, we're not going to believe a lot of what you're saying, and we're going to convict you based on the thereafter, the facts after that point. Then you have these text messages, which I think that's probably the most damning thing, because now what that gives them is that gives them a clear and concise motive. You know why? Because, of course, it's easy to believe that he would have multiple girlfriends because, you know, in the black community, our women love murderers. Our women love thugs. Our women love rappers and niggas that ain't shit. Right? Is that not the truth? So it's easy to believe that he's getting a lot of pussy out here in these streets. Excuse my language. He's smooth with it. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear, whatever you want to believe. Got him a girlfriend, then was sleeping with another chick on the side. Because when you're a rapper and you ain't working a job, you got plenty of free time on your hands. So it makes absolute perfect sense that he's like, you know what? I beat 2 murder charges. I could beat a 3rd one. It emboldened him. And she texted him and said, baby, this ain't the way to do this. And she was going to choose to stay with him anyway. Man, just, I don't know. You get what you get. You make your bed. So there you go. So I guess I can speak about it as much as I want to. But more than anything, I think we'll revisit this just to find out if he's actually held accountable this time. But even if he's not held accountable, there's people out there that know him, know what he's been accused of doing. And there's a bunch of women out there who probably will still date this man anyway, but then their family will feel sad, like, oh my God, he killed my baby, y'all. And then they want sympathy. They put up a GoFundMe and they want sympathy. And I'm like, why? Because we continue to put ourselves in a position to be victims rather than to be victors. Oops. I kind of like that I said that. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I don't want to take credit for that if it's not mine, but I'd like to take credit for that. Instead of us being victims, we should want to be victors. And as long as we continue to keep behaving in this way, this young lady lost her life. I can't say that I feel bad for her. I feel bad that her unborn child suffered because of this, and that her 18-month-old son also suffered behind this. But I don't think they're going to learn anything. They're going to continue to just do what they want because it's their body, it's their choice, right? So it is what it is, man. But we'll do an update on this story to let you guys know how many life sentences they get us, man, if they even give him any, okay? Thank you.